Longhorns head football coach Mack Brown addressed the media for the first time today since buzz about the possibility of him leaving reached an all-time high this week. He was in San Antonio this morning for an Alamo Bowl press conference with Oregon head coach Mark Helfrich. KXAN's Brent Carney was there as Mack wasted no time heading off the flurry of questions about his future.
Flanked by Oregon coach Mark Helfrich on one side and Alamo Bowl executives on the other, it's not a surprise that Mack Brown chose mostly to sidestep questions about reports that he's set to resign. Longtime Texas booster and Alamo Bowl founder Red McCombs was also here. He spoke more openly about the rumors into his friend's future, while Brown was mostly evasive.
Anytime that your athletic director changes, that changes the game. So with all due respect to him, I want to sit down with he and Bill in the near future and talk about where we're going and where our program's going. Moving forward, I'm looking forward to my meeting with Bill and with Steve, and we'll all get on the same page and then move forward. But again, I want the focus to be on these kids and the focus to be on this bowl game, because that's what we're here for.
I think that Mack has earned the right to choose whatever he wants to do, whether he wants to stay or whether he wants to go or whatever he wants. You know, if they let me make the decisions, we wouldn't even be talking about it.
McCombs was also asked about Nick Saban, said he respects him, but the two have never met, but he sounded very confident that if they had to, Texas could get him, saying, quote, all the money that's not in the Vatican is up at UT. Brent Carney, KXAN News.
So Red McCombs with a little humor about the Nick Saban situation, which we'll get to in just a second. Joining us now is KXAN Sports Director Roger Wallace, who is on top of this story that could break really at any time. And let's talk a little bit about the timing, because the speculation initially was an announcement by the end of the week, and now the stage is set, pending a meeting with President Powers and Athletic Director Patterson. So where do we go from here?
Well, I think they're going to sit down. I don't know if it's going to be a 5-minute meeting and the handwriting has already been taken care of, or if there is actually a formal meeting where a job may or may not be on the line. But Mack Brown left San Antonio. He's out recruiting right now. That's the lifeblood of a football program. He's recruiting the University of Texas, regardless of if he's the head coach or there's a new head coach. That's what he does. He's been in Florida. He's been, coincidentally, in Alabama, and now he is back on the road. So that's the first thing. And then after that, he's got to get with his coaches. They're also on the road. He's got to get with his team. The banquet's tomorrow night, so you would think something might be resolved by tomorrow. But again, this is so fluid. And Mack Brown, all he would say was nothing has changed right now. And so as of right now, he's the head coach at the University of Texas, business as usual. But that might be a bit of a stretch with all the talk going on.
It's a decision that could affect a number of people, from the incoming commitments to the current players to the coaching staff. And let's talk about how we got to this point, because early in the season, it seemed almost like a near certainty with the rough start, but he was able to engineer this turnaround. Suddenly, it's a little unclear of what he's planning to do.
Yeah, September 7th is the day, because that was the BYU game when really the bottom dropped out. Longhorns were coming off the impressive win over New Mexico State. They went out there, not only lost, but lost badly, and they just got beat at the line of scrimmage, got run over. And from there, of course, he made the coaching change with Manny Diaz. But, as you said, he righted the ship. They had a chance to win the Big 12 title. So now you're talking about, did it really come down to the second half of the Baylor game? That might be a little simplistic. They've lost at least 4 games the last 4 years. He went on that streak of 9 straight 10-win seasons. They've not been a serious contender for the national championship. They were a contender for the Big 12 title. But it's a combination of what happened this year and what's happened since they lost that game to Alabama.
Still a chance to have 9 wins for 14 times in 16 seasons at Texas. And talking about the candidates to possibly replace him, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but Nick Saban obviously is the buzzword out there right now. What's the latest on that situation?
Well, it depends who you ask in Alabama, because obviously this is a big deal in Alabama. There have been reports that he has a contract, a new deal ready to go when he wants to sign. He's already the highest paid coach in college football at about $5.5 million. Reports it could be upwards of $7 million. And then the latest report is, if in fact there's a coaching change at Texas, if in fact Nick Saban is the guy Texas points to, then Alabama would wait, see what Texas is offering, and then they would have a chance to make their pitch. But of course, as we've done so often this week, getting that cart ahead of the horse, Mack Brown's the coach. He'll be on the practice field, we presume, on Saturday when this team has to get ready to play a football game, oh, by the way, against a very good Oregon team. And you've got all these players. You've got assistant coaches that are on year-to-year contracts.
Right.
They're affected way more heavily financially and from a lifestyle point of view than a head coach of 62 who's already set up financially and may never have to coach again or work again. So there are a lot of moving parts here, and that's one of the things with the speculation. Mack Brown hasn't been around his players, hasn't been around his assistant coaches. You would think he would want to have a face-to-face before anything gets out, but as we know in this day and age, it's hard to work on your schedule. Sometimes you're working on the schedule of reports and leaks.
And 24 hours from now, the team banquet. We'll see what comes out of that. Roger Wallace, our sports director, will have another updated report in our evening newscast starting at 5 o'clock. Thanks for being with us.